Coffee gets your day started, and we get you informed. It's the Stillwater Morning Scramble with Steve Daniels on the Triple Play Sports Radio Network.
Stillwater's Morning Scramble. It's 5 away from 8 o'clock. Dr. Jeremy Cook is back from his little break, and then he's gone 2 more weeks after this.
Right.
It's tough. Where are you going now?
London. And I love London, but, you know.
Are these kind of close together? I'm not talking about geographically. I'm talking time-wise. Would you be better off spreading them out a little bit for your own?
I would be better off spreading them out further or much closer together, because 5 days is just enough time to get, everything readjusted, completely readjusted to this time, and then to fly back over to a 6-hour time difference. And so, it would have been better for much closer or for much further away. But to help my colleague who is teaching with me in London, this was the best time for her to do it. So we set it up like this.
Well, while you're doing that, Cade and I will be here holding fort in Stillwater.
And I trust you guys to do that. So more Cade than.
Yeah. Steve, you've got the keys to the city. So my question,
now that he's gone?
My question is, I've always wanted in my passport to try to get every page stamped before it expired, and
right.
I'm wondering how long does it take you to get a passport filled up?
Well, I mean, the answer that I would be given back in class is, the more you travel, the more it gets filled.
Right.
But it takes, say 4 or 5 years. Because I really don't travel that much, but it kind of seems like it, because when I travel, I'm not just running down to Ishans to have chicken. And
we discuss it all, yeah.
Steve and I go to Ishans.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to London or to Zurich or to, Nairobi or somewhere like that. I do travel more than the average person, I would wager, because this is, will be my 3rd international trip this year, and that's a little bit on the high end, but
I'm glad you brought Ishans up. That's our German experience, though, right?
There you go.
No silverware.
You get a different kind of stamp there.
That's exactly right.
True. But this is a relatively new passport that I have, but I got it right before we went to Australia 2 years ago. But part of the problem now, and quote unquote problem, is that because of the EU, when you land in an EU country, you can travel within the EU, and your passport doesn't get stamped. Whenever I go into England, if I take a train to Paris or somewhere else, it won't be another stamp.
Yeah.
And so that does kind of slow that down compared to what it used to be.
Interesting. Cade Crawford's in. I hope I introduced him right, but with Simmons Bank, and he's the chair for the chamber. But you mentioned before that you like traveling here a lot. I didn't know that you had your passport almost full.
No. That's why I was asking him. I think the fullest I've gotten a passport is probably 5 pages.
Mm-hmm.
We usually, Amy and I will travel to Mexico.
Right.
That's kind of our spot to go. We did take the kids to Jamaica. But other than that,
you did travel, though.
We're here in America, yeah.
Well, good to see you.
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, so what's on your plate today? Are you representing, again, Simmons Bank and the Chamber. And the Chamber's been, we had, I was watching the meeting last night. Justin was there, and he made a presentation. I don't know if you were watching that or had to be there or whatever, but they were presenting before the council last night.
Yeah, Justin does that ever so often to provide some metrics with respect to economic development. The Chamber is contracted with the city of Stillwater to do economic development initiatives, so very proud of Justin and Trenton on the economic development side, and then we've got a very stable, well-rounded staff on the chamber side as well. So very proud of our chamber staff. Some exciting things. I know I heard Justin talking to you on the radio last week. Some exciting things on the horizon, hopefully, with respect to primary jobs and some new businesses locating to Stillwater.
Yeah, I remember that conversation because I really do. I don't try to pin him in a corner. Not that he was going to do anything he can't, but there are confidentiality things when you're working with people. So while it seems like they're being secretive or whatever, it's just that they're being respectful, and that's how business has to be done.
Right. We, the board gets updated, and they use code names for everything. So there's a project ag, project blue, project pink, whatever that might be. And so they'll use code names to talk to us about different projects because it is very secretive. There's a lot of businesses that don't want to make a firm commitment until all the pieces are in place, or they don't want folks to know that they're coming to town just yet because they want to make sure they roll it out in the right way.
And it sounded like the one thing he was really excited about and confident in is not a retail place, but one that's going to bring jobs and nice paying jobs.
Right. I think we've got two very solid opportunities to bring a couple businesses to the area that will be primary jobs, high paying wages, average wage potentially in the 80,000 plus range. So really would bode well for Stillwater with the university here in our backyard, with Meridian, with NOC, with lots of opportunities to have kids who come to school here and get an education here stay within Stillwater.
Oh, I forgot, you mentioned, who are those again?
They are Project Blue and Project Pink now.
I was hoping I could catch him.
No, and I'll be honest, I don't even know the names or anything. We get very little information. Again, Justin does a great job on the ED side of making sure that he keeps everything confidential and on a need-to-know basis. So
I don't need to know right now. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
But, it's interesting when you talked about the schools and everything, or you mentioned that. When we talk about quality of life here, whether it's our parks, whether it's the Wondatorium, and what's the exciting news about they're moving into Mojo's, or that's our hope anyway, which is right adjacent to there, and you see Maya's Promise and the schools that we just built and are adding on. That all falls into this equation, doesn't it, when you're luring and recruiting businesses?
Absolutely. That, and then I'll also give the city of Stillwater a plug. We, on several projects, we compete with other communities, other cities, and our city staff right now, they are phenomenal at getting information, at responding, and a couple of these projects, it takes a good partnership with more than just the chamber, but with the city, with in some cases maybe an electric provider, CEC or GRDA or ONG. There's lots of different partners that the chamber has to rely on when we're trying to go out and for lack of better words, woo these companies to the area. We've got to have the right resources, the right infrastructure, and a firm commitment that everyone's rowing in the same direction. And we've got that. The city of Stillwater, Norm McNichol and his group has been really good to work with the chamber.
And the timeline on that sounded like it was fairly quick.
We're hopeful. Again, Justin probably speak better to that than I would, but I think in my mind we're hopeful that we've got some news sometime this fall.
Well, I mean, that's good news on so many levels, because I remember whenever I was in school here, 2-3 years ago, that people, all the funny things I say, and that's what he laughs at. All my friends who would have loved to have stayed in Stillwater, and to be able to give more people that opportunity, certainly in basically whatever industry, actually, because we need all forms. That's a huge benefit, not just for the business themselves, but for, as you mentioned, but for the city, and then for the individuals who get to stay here, a place that they come and they fall in love with.
Absolutely. Hey, I need to get a top of the hour break in, and then we'll come back. We got a lot more to talk about.
It's more than just a show. It's community. It's the Stillwater Morning Scramble with Steve Daniels on the Triple Play Sports Radio Network.